Hi there guys, welcome to another episode. I've done it again. I've been on Marketplace again, buying stuff. As you've seen on the title of the video, I'm going to start making a powder coating oven. Well, I bought this. It's an oven. I know it's not a powder coating oven, it's an ordinary kitchen oven. And I mean, I could use it as it is. I can get some stuff in there and powder coat them in there, but I'm not going to do that because I can only get really small stuff in there. So what the plan is, and this is my plan right now, is to take the heating element out of it that's there. I've got the controls for the temperature there, and I've got what turns the oven on and stuff like that. So I'm going to use these two controls for it. The heating element there, and there's one in the bottom as well. I'll probably use that one as well. Right, so I started to pull it apart, took the top off of it. Basically it had cables that go, it had a load of cables that go to these switches, and they're basically the switches that turn on the rings that were at the top here. And then I've got the other switches that are here as well. So it's that switch and that switch that I need. I've got the little thermostat here that I need to keep hold of, so that goes all the way along here and goes to the back of the oven on that cable there. Most of these wires, I think definitely these grey wires, I don't need because they just power this lot. So basically what I'm going to do is take off this front panel, complete as it is. Go around the back here. We've got here is where the heating element goes into the top of the oven, there and there. And then the power supply here. So all these grey wires feed the heating elements, and they feed the heating elements there, and they also feed the top parts as well. So I basically need to get rid of the ones that I don't want, and then just keep the ones that I do want. So yeah, I'm going to pull it apart a bit and get rid of some stuff that we don't need anymore. Let's crack on. Right, so we've got the oven apart now then. So what we're going to need now is something to put the parts in so we can heat them up. I was going to build something, kind of a metal box type of thing, but in the end I decided on something slightly different. So what we've got is a water heater. So it's got a metal tank inside here, which is already insulated. There's about 5 centimeters thick of insulation straight through there because I've poked into it. So the plan is to cut a doorway here and here, and probably here somewhere, about 80 centimeters deep door, or from about there down to there somewhere, and about 40 centimeters wide, so either side of there. And that should give me enough room to get in slightly larger things. I'm not going to get a rear axle in there, but I'll definitely get some larger things in there. So the first thing I need to do the first thing I wanted to check, that I've done that today, was check that this stuff will actually survive about 200 degrees of heat. So I heated it up with a heat gun to about 210 degrees, and it's fine. It seems to withstand the temperatures, so I'll be alright with that. So what I need to do now is cut along here so I can get to the metal on the inside of it, and yeah, start to make a door on it, really. So as you can see, I've cut out the front of it now, and I started to make a cut across the weld there. So now I need to cut down the edge there, and down the edge there, and across the bottom, and this will be the door. Then I can fit the heating element in the bottom of there to heat it all up. Some hinges is the plan on the side here, and some locks on the side there. And then I can put the control panel on the side here, and that will be my powder coating oven. Nice, cheap powder coating oven. I will be able to get in things like brake drums, suspension parts. I won't be able to get in a whole back axle, unfortunately, so that'll be painted, but all the parts for suspension, the brake hubs and all that sort of stuff, I can put inside this tank and heat the tank up basically. So yeah, let's crack on with the rest of that then, shall we? Right, so that's a piece of metal cut out. What we can see in there now is that the heating element is already there, but what I can also see is that heating element only goes up to 80 degrees. So that has to come out and we have to plug that hole up. There's a pipe in there. I think it's for getting the water in there. So we need to cut that off, plug that up as well. A couple of brackets and stuff like that. Got a hole at the top there that needs blocking off. But yeah, gonna be a good size actually for an oven. So yeah, what I need to do now is take this door and I'll probably buy another piece of metal, bend it to that shape because it's rounded obviously, that's slightly bigger, so that I can put a seal against this piece of metal here and against there. Also wants to be some hinges on it and some locks on it so I can lock it down and stuff like that. So it needs to be slightly bigger than this opening anyway. So yeah, but we're on the way. A bit more angle grinder to do and we're done. Right, so a quick update. I put the heating element there. This is the bigger one of all of them. So I put that in there. I've turned the little tabs around there and I'll rivet them in place. I haven't riveted it just yet because I need to sort all the holes out in the bottom. I've cut the pipe off that went in there and took the mixing valve away and things like that. So I just need to weld up these holes so that the air and heat doesn't go out the bottom. This big hole here where the original heating element came out, I was quite surprised actually. It turns out that this is what it looked like. It was bolted in these circle bolts all the way around the edge, these bolts here, and the heat element came out through these ones here. Well, this is a nice thick steel plate, so all I need to do now is weld up these holes in the middle with a welder and then just bolt it back together again, and that's that. It was really simple. I thought I was going to have to put a plate over that hole and weld it in and things like that, but don't need to. I was quite pleased with that one, so that saved me a bit of work. I've just cut one of the trays, one of the bars here, so that's going to fit in the bottom like that, just to cover up the heating elements. I'm not going touching it or anything, don't drop anything on it or anything like that, so that's going to just be welded in place there. My plan then is the ends that I cut off of that tray I want to weld like that, standing, and I want to weld them in the roof so that I can put them like that and I can hang things from there. So I think that's going to be quite good. I'm quite pleased with that idea. The other thing I've got is these, which were the original tray racks. Oh, get hold of them. I've got 4 of these, 2 small ones like this and 2 slightly bigger ones. Well, the plan I'm thinking there is I can weld them to the inside here and I can put some bars across here and I'll be able to put things like a brake drum or whatever on these shelves, and I can put a couple down the bottom there and I'll put the bigger ones slightly higher up, and it gives me some options to rest things in, especially if one side doesn't need powder coating. I can lay it down on something and powder coat the rest of it. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I've got quite a lot of parts and it's only really the door left to do. So yeah, I'm going to get around to that in the near future. Right, so the thing I've been trying to sort out now, I've been trying to think about this for a couple of days, is that metal there I've took out of there, which is for the door. Now as you can see, the door's rounded. If this had been a nice square box, it would have been really easy to make a door for it, but it's rounded, which means that it makes it slightly more difficult. So I'm thinking what I should really have is some kind of a bending tool of some form. Well, in the end I came to the decision that I don't have one, but I do have something that's round and cylindrical and looks pretty similar to what was on there already. So I put a sheet of metal on this table here and some of these ratchet straps around it, and yeah, kind of bent it, and I'm quite happy, to be quite honest, looking at how round that is. It's a 2mm sheet of steel, so it's not easy to bend, but that worked really rather well. It's a little bit of a gap there, but I think with a bit of a hammer. That's going to be alright, that is. And I think this is pretty much the same kind of shape as the one that's already there. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that, with my improvised bending tool. Well, I'm just letting it rest there for a little bit, see if it'll bend a little bit easier. And I'm probably going to go around it with a bit of a rubber mallet and try and straighten these edges a bit. But I'm quite pleased with the result of that for just 3 ratchet straps on an old tube. Worked really well. Well, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. I think by the time it's got a hinge on this side and the lock on that side, not going to be too bad. I think I'll be able to bend this slightly more as well, but yeah, quite happy with that. It's not bad at all, actually. Right, well that is the door finished ready for insulation. Probably not the most beautiful looking thing in the world, but it's going to do the job. So I've got some insulation now that I'm going to put inside there. Then I've got some metal that is 0.7 mil thick, which is just going to be the outer skin. So I'll be able to lay that on it, pop neat it in place, and then probably cut around it in place, to be honest. I don't think I need to take it off, but that's going to be the door. The hinge I'll then be able to fit to the underside of the door, weld them on, and a couple of locks on the other side on that side. So the door's almost finished. So yeah, quite happy with that. I've just got a hinge to fit, a handle to rivet onto it, and then I've got to somehow mount it to the oven. But I've got the edge there now where I can fit the hinge to. I may even pop rivet it to the underside here, the hinge, possibly, just because it's a bit more stable, that is. One there and one there. The locks, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get them to bolt on yet, but we'll sort something out about it. Yeah, quite happy with that. Right, so that's the door all made, as you can see. Join me next week when I start welding the parts on the inside of it, and I'll put it all back together again. Hopefully I'll hang the door up, put all the racks inside of it so that we can hang things from it and do some stuff in it. I'm hoping to be able to take something off of the car, be able to sandblast it, and with a bit of luck I'll have a powder coating gun and we'll be able to put some colour on something. So join me next week and we'll see what happens in that. Thanks for a lot, and bye bye.